under attack for their faith. On the first night of Hanukkah season, gunmen killed 15 people, injured 38 others at Bondi Beach in Australia. Authorities are saying two men, a father and a son, opened fire on a large Hanukkah celebration. They say this was a terrorist attack on the Jewish community. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. Videos captured the horrific scene of anti-Jewish violence. Hundreds of people had gathered at Bondi Beach outside of Sydney to celebrate the start of Hanukkah. Mass chaos erupted after gunshots began and continued and continued. People were running, trying to take cover. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese here.
What we saw yesterday was an act of pure evil, an act of anti-Semitism, an act of terrorism on our shores. The Jewish community are hurting today. Today, all Australians wrap our arms around them and say, we stand with you. We will do whatever is necessary to stamp out anti-Semitism. It is a scourge, and we will eradicate it together.
Part of the story is the criticism that that leader is taking. We'll get to that in a moment. The jaw-dropping video taken during the attack. Look at your screen. That hero, incredibly courageous bystander, ran toward the gunfire. He then tackled one of the gunmen and wrestled the weapon out of his hands. His parents say that man was later shot several times in the shoulder by another gunman. That hero is Ahmed Alamed, 43 years old. He's a dad, has two daughters who immigrated to Australia from Syria nearly 20 years ago. Today, he's recovering from his injuries. More information is coming out about the victims, too. Eli Schlangler, a 41-year-old father of 5, was a rabbi at Chabad of Bondi, and he had just welcomed a new baby son 2 months ago. Matilda B. Brivdan had just celebrated her 10th birthday before the attack. People describe her as a joyful and spirited little girl who brought light to everyone around her. Former NYPD Detective Darren Porcher is here. Coming up, though, first, let's get the very latest from the ground. Senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palkot. Greg.
Harris, the people of Australia, the folks here in London, all around the world, still reeling from this horrendous attack in Australia. Police now say they expect to bring criminal charges against the surviving gunman in this deadly shooting spree that went on for minutes and minutes that, yes, left 15 killed, ages 10 to 87, including a Holocaust survivor, a rabbi, as you noted. Dozens have been hospitalized and several remain in critical condition. A father, 50 years old, and his son, 24, targeted hundreds of people, adults, kids, you name it, gathered at a park at Sydney's famous Bondi Beach to mark the first day of Hanukkah. Officials describe it as a terrible act of anti-Semitism. In fact, an act of terrorism against the Jewish community there. In one vivid scene, as you described, let's go through it again, a bystander can be seen sneaking up on one of the gunmen, then tackling him, wrestling the gun away, pushing him down to the ground, pointing the gun at him as the suspect backs off, and then putting the gun down, motioning to the man. He would soon be wounded himself. In comments later, President Trump called him a very brave man. Here is what one eyewitness, and as you can see, a victim, described it.
I saw at least one gunman firing, looked like a shotgun, firing randomly in all directions. I saw children falling to the floor, so elderly I saw, invalids I saw. People just, it was an absolute bloodbath, blood gushing everywhere.
As people today mourn the losses, more is learned about the shooters. The father, who died after being shot by police, was an immigrant who lived in Australia on a variety of visas. The son, who was injured, reportedly was investigated by police a few years ago for his association with members of a Sydney-based cell of the Islamic State or ISIS terror group. He was not, at that time, Harris, deemed a threat. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says he'll introduce new security measures to protect the Jewish community. But as you noted, there have been several anti-Semitic attacks in the past couple of years and got people there concerned. Also, the 50-year-old gunman had legal possession of 6 firearms, all of them now in the possession of police. Back to you.
Yeah, and that, we'll get into that with my guest today, but I just want to double check. They have some very strong gun laws in that country. I mean, it's one to have one gun. It's another thing to have 6 like that.
Very strong gun laws. 30 years ago, there was a massive attack. They were put in place. But over the last 10 years, this man was able to acquire 6 guns legally. Back to you.
All right, Greg Palkot, thank you very much.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.